Hey, I'm Shane Trotter, Strength and Conditioning Coordinator at Mansfield High School. And I just wanted to talk today about progressions, our philosophy on progressions here, and how we progress push-ups. Okay, so the push-up is a fantastic movement. It's how I teach the push movement. I progress it from a push-up position plank, which is how I originally teach the plank. But it's fantastic. We live in a world where everyone wants to bench press. I think that's a valuable lift, but not near as valuable as quite a few other ones for sports performance. And one of them being a push-up. If you can't do 10 perfect push-ups from the ground, then why are you bench pressing? If you can't, if you haven't tried doing a resisted push-up, you're missing out on a lot of value too. The great thing about a push-up is we're not just working chest and tricep and shoulder stability. We're working the entire body, all right, holding a plank throughout the entire movement. So everything we do is a progression in the weight room. Everything you do, whether it's a back squat or a deadlift, whatever it is, it's progression. Once you get to doing that movement perfectly, now you have to constantly be progressing the weight upward. As long as you can maintain form, you want to keep progressing the weight so that we're always, in a situation where there's progressive overload going on. Okay, so that's kind of the philosophy behind progression, and I try to always kind of emphasize that to our athletes as they're going into anything. Okay, that not only are we going through progressions with the pull-ups, but also with the push-ups, but also in a bench press, you're going through a progression, and in a deadlift, in a squat, whatever it is. So anyway, our push-up progression. The first thing I do with any athlete that comes in is I teach them and I evaluate them in the push-up position plank. Okay, so we want long neck, eyes straight down, not looking up or looking down. All right, eyes straight down. All right, in the push-up position plank, I should have a straight line from head to hip. All right, hands directly under shoulders. All right, straight line from head to hip. Okay. We hold that at least a minute, and then I start to teach them about and help them understand that the push-up, like the pull-up, like the inverted row, whatever it is a moving plank. All right, so I want you to maintain the plank as you move through, all right, this movement. Okay, so we see what a push-up looks like. Push-up, hands under shoulders, just like that push-up position plank. Same thing. Okay, elbows have to track back. All right, so when I do a push-up, I'll have everyone model it sitting upright like this. The elbows track back. All right, if there was an aerial view, you would see an arrow, not a T, I tell them. Okay, a T is much harder on the shoulders. All right, we're isolating muscles rather than, it's not as much of a compound movement. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons we want the elbows to track back, protect those shoulders, get better work. And I always emphasize over and over again, you're maintaining the plank. You're maintaining the plank. Now, the majority of athletes I see early on can't do a push-up from the ground yet. All right? So, of course, they're not bench pressing yet. And we start hands elevated. Okay? So we can grab a plyo box, have higher, lower, whatever. All right? We'll go hands elevated. All right? Maintaining the plank, elbows back, drive up. All right? Always very, 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 very clear to make sure that we're maintaining that cadence too. About 2 seconds down, pause, explode. All right? Especially early on. All right? Control is very, very important. All right? Quickly, most athletes can be away from a plyo box. All right? And to a bench. So the bench is a little lower, so it's a little bit more challenging. Elbows track back, explode. Holding the plank the entire time, okay? Typically, I start with a much slower negative, okay, for those that are struggling, all right? And I'll take out the concentric, the upward portion completely, all right? So just elbows tracking back, and then we start to add that in. As they get more proficient there, we're going to progress, all right? I'll do 5 reps with one leg up, and then another 5 with the other leg up, maintaining the plank the entire time. All right. Then once I have that mastered, all right, or close to mastered, all right, I'm ready to go to the ground almost, but maybe not quite. all right, I can go 2 and 2, and then come to the ground and do a very slow negative, holding the plank the entire time, all right, and giving me an isopause at the bottom. So I can kind of combine a few steps in the progression, right? Get the work, all right, get the push-up, the full range of motion push-up work, and then come down and take advantage of actually feeling the position from the ground, all right, and doing an eccentric there, all right? Once I'm good, pretty shortly I should be good to do push-ups from the ground, full range of motion, okay? Soon I'll be at a point though where I'm getting less value from those because they become easy, all right? This is where the bench press becomes very valuable, but I can still progress this movement further, and there's still a lot of value to the push-up, all right, once I can pop out 25, 30 because of the total body nature of it. So one thing I can do is I can get to make this a much more challenging lift, all right, is I can get band behind my back. It's the same thing of doing chains or bands on a bench too, okay, the same concept, all right, it's going to be a lot easier at the beginning of the lift, all right, when I have, when I'm not, I don't have as good of a leverage on it, so when I'm weaker, all right, and as I get stronger, the tension gets stronger on the band. So this is a great way to train push-ups, all right, and to train power in athletes, all right. The other thing we'll do is we'll have a partner, we'll have the setup in that push-up position plank, all right, and we'll have a partner put a plate right above their hips there, okay. It can be a 10, it can be a 25, 35, 45, whatever, all right, but then you have that balance component, and they're having to have a lot of stability and control, all right, as they're kind of loaded throughout that push-up movement pattern, okay? So that's how we progress the push-ups. There's plenty of other ways to do it too. You can move, you know, even advance that even further if you'd like. We typically don't, just, you know, a lot of athletes trying to make sure we're on the same page. But you can do a one-arm push-up, you can do judo push-ups. There's a lot of ways to keep progressing, all right? So never get bored with these movements. Keep progressing, and I hope that was helpful. Have a great day.